Hi, good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Bill, and this is our next episode of Where Spirit Meets Science. It's a reflection of my own spiritual journey in terms of the scientist finding my spiritual path, and I share all my stories and writings and so on from that. Today's topic is something for sure you're going to encounter on your spiritual path, and that is about embracing the darkness to awaken the light within. This is an excerpt from my upcoming book, Quantum Grace, Contemplations for the Spiritual Journey. It doesn't matter where you are in your spiritual path, whether you're starting out or you're in the middle of it. This is certainly something that you're going to encounter more than once, and it's just part of the journey. And we'll go into a lot of detail about that today, and I'll share some of my experiences and some insights from others, and then we'll go into that. But first, let's go into our usual meditation. So I'd like you to find a quiet place, settle into where you're sitting. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as we continue to breathe in, breathe out, we're going to contemplate our own darkness and our own journey and what we are going to embrace today. Whatever that is for you, breathe in. Breathe out. Release all the worries of today, for the week, whatever is on your mind that is not important in this moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Contemplate something that you're facing now that is a darkness within that you're afraid to embrace. Breathe into that. Don't be afraid. You're not the first to journey here, nor will you be the last. Breathe in. Breathe out. And as we continue to breathe in, breathe out slowly, quieting our minds. Any thoughts that come into our consciousness, we give them no attention. Release them into the sky like clouds passing by. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You feel your body getting lighter as you breathe into this space, into that energetic feeling of all that is. Continue to breathe in Breathe out. Like the waves that quietly wash up on the shore, coming in and coming out. The breath of the universe, the breath of this world, the energy of that divine creation within all things. Feel it flow through you and as you continue to breathe in, breathe out. Like the water washing over you. Feel the energy of love and peace that reigns within all things. For if it is in all things, it is also within you. Continue to breathe in, feeling that energy, presence of and now you can open your eyes and bring yourself back into the space slowly whenever you're ready. Prepare for the journey of embracing the darkness within. You are ready. Welcome back. Feeling much better, are we? I hope so. And today we're going to talk about this theme of embracing darkness. It's part of our spiritual journey. And like I said, it's something you're always going to encounter. It may come up unexpectedly at times when you're on this journey. And the reason for that is that as you're journeying through your path and awakening on a spiritual energy that it is, you will find that you will come up against any inner fears or doubts or pains that are blocking you energetically from your spiritual growth and enlightenment. And so the common tendency is for us when we're faced with these sorts of things is to turn the other way and bury them and not give them any recognition. We don't want to deal with it. That's our ego talking. But often these are deep-rooted energetically within our body and within our soul. And it could be something from the past. It could be something that happened recently to you, or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. But there's some sort of inner fear or doubt or some pain that you have within you. And it could come from your past that you hadn't thought about it in years. And something that's is still energetically attached to you. And if we think about the science of that in memories and how they're embedded into our brain and our consciousness and those neurons that are connected with that memory. Now with time, sometimes that memory changes and sometimes we even make it worse than what it actually was. This is our way of dealing with things. And what's amazing about this is as you do more and more meditation, and as you go more and more on your spiritual journey, and you go into this space, you will touch those energetic things that aren't aligned anymore. They don't resonate with what your soul is feeling or where your spirit is going and growing. And so it's at these moments that we need to embrace those and overcome our fear. And by doing so, we're able to release, reprint these in our minds and our brains in a way where when we think about them, you can't change what something traumatic that's happened in your past. It's always going to be a memory there. But how you react to it can change. How you see that in a different light can change after you embrace that pain and that darkness and move through it. And we'll talk about processes of how to do that a little bit later on here in the show. But this is something that you can certainly do. And you're not the first one to experience it. You're not the last. And it only comes down to wanting to embrace that yourself and being committed to doing something more and really moving through that. Because I can tell you, when you reach the other side of that, it's amazing what you feel and how you see things happen there. So you may be familiar with the Lord of the Rings movies. Obviously, I'm a huge fan, and of course, I'm a big scientist, so I'm a big science fiction buff, so I love all the Star Wars movies. I remember seeing those when they first came out, and they really resonated with me in terms of that. And they may resonate with you, or maybe there's different stories that resonate with you, but it always has to do with the hero's journey. And that is what it is for you when you're taking your journey on this spiritual path. So let me, in the first movie, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, there's a song in there that's sung by Enya, which I love her music, and the lyrics of the song go like this: "May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk a lonely road, oh, how far you are from home. Morni utali, darkness has come. Believe and you will find your way. Morni alanti, darkness has fallen. A promise lives within you now." Those are beautiful words. And of course, I'm not going to try and sing this song. This one's a little bit out of my range. And she's singing in Celtic, or I'm not sure what the language is, but Morni utali, morni alanti it means darkness has come, darkness has fallen. So this is a reflection for Frodo, who's the hero in this 3 trilogy movie, of where he has to take an incredible journey that's dangerous, and he's very afraid to do that, and he doesn't know that he can do it. So the music and the lyrics of the song, which is the theme for the first movie, is about how we will come upon this darkness, and in that we will find light. So again, as we move forward on our spiritual path, we become more awake to the essence of who we are that stirs within. And as we go deeper into the recesses of our soul, we're going to shine a light on those dark places, as I was saying, within us. So for us to be fully awake on our path, we will be exposed to the full light of spirit, and by necessity expose the darkness of fear, the uncertainty of doubt, the troublesome of worry, and the sharpest edges of our pain. These dark energies have to be shifted within us out of the darkness and into the light. For them to remain where they are and not face the eternal presence of God within all will only derail us from experiencing the full truth of who we are. Now, there's another scene in this first movie where they're in the caves and in the mountains, the caves of Moria, I believe, and they're sitting there on the rock and they don't know which path to take. There's like 3 different paths there, openings. If you remember the scene, and Frodo is sitting there with Gandalf the wizard, and Frodo says to him, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." And Gandalf replies, "So do I." But he says, "And so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to do is decide what to do with the time that is given us." And it's true for us as well. We have to decide what to do with the time that is given us. And again, embracing these dark places is, again, something we must do if we're going to move forward on our path. Now, long before, actually not before, after, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy was written by J.R.R. Tolkien, I think back in the 1800s, actually. But Joseph Campbell came about in the early part of the 20th century and did a lot of writing on this about the hero's journey and mythology. And he goes all the way back to the Greek mythology and the hero's journey. This is something that's like embedded within our psyche as the humans having a spiritual experience, but really we're the spiritual beings having that human experience. And so there's always challenges. There's always facing darkness, always facing fear, always facing having the courage to embrace even the fear of death, which is probably the greatest fear of all. And Joseph Campbell talked a lot about this. Very profound. If you ever get a chance to read any of his material, I highly recommend it. There's a book called The Power of Myth, which was a great book that was written in the 80s. It was an interview with Bill Moyer, I believe, and it was great. And you can actually see the video of that somewhere. But it's pretty profound stuff. And George Lucas was inspired by Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, which is the story of Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies, right? But in all of that, heroes always face the darkness and challenges, but it's essential for growth and transformation. There's a quote here by Joseph Campbell, which I love, that says, quote, "Furthermore, we have not even to risk the adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. The labyrinth is thoroughly known. We have only to follow the thread of the hero path, and where we had thought to find an abomination, we shall find God. And where we had thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. Where we had thought to travel outward, we will come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we will be with all the world." That's very profound. I mean, you're not alone, even though you may feel like you're alone going through these moments. You're with everyone that's gone before you in an energetic way, because everything is energy. As a scientist, we know this. Nothing, matter isn't destroyed. Energy is just takes different form. So whatever has happened before in word, thought, and deed, energetically, is in the essence of all that is, and that journey that energy that you're connecting to, that flows through you and as you. You feel that as you're going through that. And so you're not alone in that sense. Even though you may be physically alone at the moment you're dealing with this, you are not spiritually or energetically alone at all. You are one with all the world. And that's the essence of what he's trying to say there. And as for my own spiritual journey, wow, I can think of many times where I've been in this place where I was faced with something from my past, or ending of a relationship, or friendship, or something. If there's any constant in the universe, and that is that things change. And I guess that's part of the essence of this too, is because we as human beings and our egos don't want things to change. We want everything to stay just like it is, and think that that's the way it is. But no, this is not true. I mean, our lives will always change. There will always be things that happen. I mean, just inevitably every day we're growing older. Okay, so things are changing. There's nothing you can do to stop the clock on that. So for me, there's been many times where I've gotten into these places of tremendous grief, the loss of my father, the loss of other loved ones, that all these things are part of. And it also triggers something with us and other memories we may have that we're not even consciously aware of. But meditating is the best way to kind of sit with that and actually sit with the experience and go through the experience in that. And we want to dive deep into that idea to awaken spiritually. We want to face those dark places within our soul. And it's really necessary, as I said, to experience it. And then, yes, you have to experience, you have to feel it again. But as you do this, you begin to release that. Now, there was a pretty profound one that happened. I won't go into the details of the past trauma, but it has to do with abuse. And as I was meditating, feeling the energy of that experience and that memory, you feel the pain of that. You feel the anguish. It takes you right back to that experience. And keep in mind that even deep-rooted experiences that you have, it isn't, it may take several sessions to release that trauma or whatever that pain is that's causing you this trauma. Think of it like an onion and the layers of an onion that you're peeling back until you get to the core. And I did have years peeling back multiple layers of this particular onion. And then I was able to have an experience where such a profound experience, and this is something I'll share for a future episode, but in this experience, I connected with the energy of the universe, and I felt the peace and love of that. And as I felt the peace and love of that, I was able to release that. And this is how you'll know that you've kind of moved through that experience ultimately, because you may go back for that memory later on and then think about it, but then the energy is different. It's been reprinted or re-imprinted in your mind to see it in a different perspective, to see it from the place of love rather than the place from fear. And when you can see it from the place of love, it doesn't have the same impact on you anymore. It's been released. Think of it this way: you're probably changing that negative energy of fear, which is really, it's all about fear of something, and you're replacing that with love. Love has a different energetic footprint than fear does. So maybe you have the same memory, but now you see it from the perspective of love, and you can only see the beauty of that. And if it's attached to someone else who did something to you, you're able to release that. You don't see that person in that light. You see them as a spiritual being as well that was going through pain. You have empathy. You have compassion. And you no longer feel angry or negative about the experience, because you've shifted that energy and changed it. You reprinted that memory in a different light. That's pretty powerful if you think about it. And for us to do that is definitely something we want to do. And I can tell you some other times, and as I move through that experience and shift the energy of that you can't help but cry, and the tears of joy and love that flow through you, and you feel that peace on the other side as you move into that. You may be on the floor in the fetal position, releasing all of that, and that's what you have to do. You have to release that energy. And if it's something you want to, this is very personal to you and private to you, then you do it alone. You find a quiet time when you're alone, and you're able to move into that space and release that and shift that energy. Because when you move to the other side of that, then you feel this peace, this sense of love, and it doesn't impact you that way anymore. And you can do that. This is something you can do. It doesn't matter what the experience is. It doesn't matter how traumatic it is. It doesn't matter. You can move through that. So, but yes, indeed, it's a choice. And we can choose not to go. But if it's resonating with you, then it's time. It's time for something to deal. If it keeps coming up, then that means, yes, this is something you need to deal with. Okay? And and we may not want to do it for sure. Of course, we don't want to do it, but it's up to you. Just like the hero, it's up to you to embrace that. You and you alone must decide to journey down this path. These parts of the path that reveal those dark, I call them dark nights of the soul. This is a phrase that's been used by others. Must be traversed alone. So while I said you may be alone physically, you're not alone energetically. You are in the presence of all that is, and everything is connected with all things. And while it may seem scary, you know that the ever-present good of God is right there beside you and within your heart and within your soul. And the deep pain and release that you have from that cries out in agony from the abyss of this darkness will break you through to this light of joy, love, and happiness and peace. And it will still the waters of your omniscient spirit. So, have the courage to embrace that and move into this space. Now, how can we do that? Let me talk about some practical steps for us to embrace that journey. Okay. First, of course, is meditation. So, journaling, which in Quantum Grace, I talk about these different practices as part of your total spiritual practice: journaling, affirmations, meditation. And we'll go into those in each message in the book, But there'll be a meditation. So in this case, you'd want to do a meditation after doing some journaling. Sit with your feelings. If something's coming up, you don't need to tackle multiple things. Take that one experience that's coming up for you. And then you're going to sit and do a meditation, and you're going to move into the energy of that space. You're going to feel that. And then you're going to embrace it and not be afraid to do that. And through that breathing and meditation, you're raising your vibrational energy, so you're going to be able to rise above that and move through that. And whatever it is that you're feeling with that experience, you want to bring it in and feel all of it and release it, cry it out, get it out of your system, shift that energy and do that. And in the end of that, as you're feeling that sense of peace, whatever, then you can write in your journal some affirmations about I am that being, that you are a spiritual being. You are on your awakened path. These are the things you can affirm and claim as if they are for you. And the affirmations are for courage and transformation. And these are the things you want to write in your journal to do that. So these are practical steps you can do to embrace that journey. So let me close by saying the following. Have the courage to embrace the darkness within you. It will bring you to the promise of light, love, and connection with the infinite unfolding of your consciousness. And to take a phrase from May It Be, the song, a promise lives within you now. May it be. May it be. Let it be that part of you. Move into that for it to be you. So I want to thank you today for joining me on this discussion about embracing the darkness within, embracing the darkness to awaken the light within, right? This is our message. And again, as I said, this is something you'll have no matter where you go. Our next episode on Where Spirit Meets Science, I will probably go back into spiritual inheritance and about some of the writings that with my grandfather I did in the last episode. So stay tuned for that next week. Now let's take a few minutes to find a comfortable position again and get settled in. And let's take a moment to be thankful for being here. And I want to send you forth with peace and courage and light, and to take that with you through the rest of your day today, through the week, through the month and the hours, and through your spiritual journey. Embrace your journey, no matter how challenging. Trust in the promise of the light within. Do not be afraid. Move into a path of love and feel that peace that comes with that. And I send you on your way. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Bill. Please visit my website at williamdavidclark.com. You can subscribe there. I have a blog that I do there as well. And follow me on the various social media platforms for updates. Okay? So with that, I leave you with love and gratitude. I'm Dr. Bill.